Here we are, we're over in Fargo Village. Here I am with Rawtrachs, West Midlands DJ, who's wanted to meet Horace Panter from the Specials. Do you want to tell us why?
Yeah, basically, it's sort of growing up in the UK. I was born and bred here. You know, like in the early days, sort of like early 80s, there was sort of bits and pieces of racism and sort of like those kind of things being thrown at me as a kid. Didn't really feel like I was part of the UK or England. Yeah, just didn't feel like I belonged here in a way. Went over to India when I was young, sort of like about 6-7 years old. I was there for about 6 weeks, and I thought, yeah, you know, I'm going to go to India. It's going to be like great. Everyone's going to like love me and all that kind of stuff. And there's just this one thing that sticks in my mind, which is I drew a picture of the Indian flag with a piece of chalk on something that was like a slate. And a relative came over to me and basically said, "No, why are you drawing the Indian flag?" And I said it was because I was Indian. And I think it was a lady actually. The lady that the relative said to me, "Well, you're not Indian because you were born in England, and you know, like you were born and bred there, so you're not Indian." And that kind of just made me, at that age, it just made me feel funny because I was like, well, over in England, people are like throwing racist names at me. Over in India, they're saying that I'm not Indian, they're saying I'm English, and it's like, you know, where exactly do I fit in?
Can we just ask Horace at this point, because do you think it's fair to say the Specials were one of the first groups in Britain that were actually a mixed line-up? If we look at like groups before...
I suppose famous ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Although Booker T and the MGs were in America were 2 black guys, 2 white guys. The Equals, Baby Come Back, you remember all that stuff? They were South American, and they were sort of combined. But I think so. I think we were the first people where people made a big deal of it, shall we say?
Yeah. And what influence has that had on you?
Specials. Well, I mean, when I was growing up, I grew up with my mum and my aunts and my uncle. There was always Specials records in the house, a lot of two-tone type of stuff.
And since then you've been DJing?
Yeah, I've been DJing as well, and kind of strangely in a way, there's a few sort of Specials records that I like to play if I'm doing a podcast or if I'm playing out somewhere. I always find that even when I go out, there's always songs that I'll hear from like new up-and-coming artists that will have sampled something from like Specials, whether it's from like something from Ghost Town or like Too Much Too Young, or just like little snippets.
Yeah.
And even like bands that I was into at the time, like Massive Attack and Tricky, they've kind of like borrowed lyrics and certain things.
We'll just go back to what you were saying about feeling a bit alienated. You were going to mention something about what music did for you.
Yes, I mean, when I was a teenager, I was like heavily into like hardcore and jungle at the time, which would have been about sort of like 93, 94-ish. And that kind of music is, at the time, was very sample-based. People like drawing influences from like their parents or brothers and sisters' record collections. And in a way, you know, like certain like tunes and things will have samples from tracks like the Specials.
So what do you feel about people getting some kind of identity through your music, Horace?
It's sort of, I don't know, I suppose it's a sort of a pride, really. I mean, I've had this when with sort of bands in America, you know, like we recently we did a show of Fishbone in America, and their bass player came up to me before they played, and they said, "Horace, you don't know what you did when you know, we saw you guys on Saturday Night Live. We went to see Darts Craze. We went out and formed a band." You know, it's like, yeah, okay, that was lovely. I mean, that's good. I mean, it's not a physical thing. It doesn't pay the mortgage. Yeah. You know, it doesn't mean it doesn't buy you a BMW or whatever. But it's good for your soul. So yeah. I think it's nice. I think it would be churlish of me to walk around and say, I changed British opinion on multiculturalism. You know, I think that would be a really pretentious thing to do. But if we did, yeah, okay.
I think then, job done. Propagated it in some sort of way, because I think people will have seen, you know what, there's a group out there, and you know, you've got like a different mixture of people there, and it can work.
But I think, again, it also relates to Coventry, where we are now, which I always maintain was a multicultural city before multiculturalism was invented.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't big like Bristol or Birmingham.
Yeah.
So it wasn't big so that it had ghettos, you know, like Handsworth or St Paul.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was small enough where everybody sort of got on. My friend Neil Davis, who was the guitar player for the Selector, he goes on about in Fosa, where he lived in his street. There were like Greeks, Polish, Indians, you know, Caribbean, whatever, and they all went to school together.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, you know, you all had to muck in.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
There was no choice about it, and that. But the same thing was true musically. There was a big soul band circuit, as there was in Birmingham, and. You got the gig not because you were, you know, it wasn't a black band or a white band. You got the gig if you were a good guitarist.
Yeah.
The fact that you were black or white didn't really make any difference, you know. So you had Neil Davis and Jerry Danners playing in a band with Lynval Golding, you know, Charlie Bembridge, Charlie Anderson, you know, Earl Silverton, and all those kind of people who eventually, you know, became the Specials and the Selector, and they were all working together anyway. They were all, you know, they were pretending to be cool in the gang. You know, but they were all playing the same sort of music. But music has always had that unifying factor.
Definitely.
And that's, I remember Dave Whiteling saying to me when The Beat came out, he said some journalist came up to me and said, "Gosh, Dave, that's a real amazing sociological, you know, stance you're taking, you know, with, you know, the Everett, you know, the black drummer in the band." And Dave looked at him and said, "Well, no, we got Everett because he was a good drummer."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, not that race wasn't important, but it wasn't the important, you know, the main factor. Because basically we were a pop group. And I think that gets lost with the Specials. Oh, you know, their stance against racism. Hey, we just wanted to make people dance.
Yeah, just make good music.
You know, and the best way to make people dance is to play the best possible dance music going.
Yeah.
Which was ska.
That's all that matters.
You know, played with punk rock.
Yeah,
you know? And so I think not that we weren't aware of all the sort of socio-political, the anti-racist stance, but I wouldn't say it was, you know, I wouldn't say we didn't form a political party, we formed a pop group.
Yeah.
And I think that came in its wake, if you like. Does that?
Yeah, it does make sense. I think music's just got this like kind of weird kind of power or something to it, to just
of course it has.
bring people together.
Yeah.
And
it always has from way back.
Yeah.
Back, you know, in prehistoric times, everyone sat around campfires and bashed things, you know.
Yeah. A lot what I find interesting with music isn't specifically genres, but where you've got different genres and they kind of like there's a meeting point between the two, and you get something interesting spurring off because of it. Stuff like that is just like always interesting me.
And I think one of the things about, especially what you were saying about the sampling, that sort of stuff, it's like, here are the rules, let's break them.
Yeah.
And I think that's always been sort of a mantra, especially, you know, over the past sort of, you know, 30, 40 years.
Because some people get offended by sampling, don't they? I think there's a lot of sort of like...
I think some businessmen realise that they could be making an enormous amount of money if they'd have, you know, legalised or whatever, you know what I mean? Welcome to the music business. But I think musicians are like, hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, nobody said that to Muddy Waters when he took, you know, an old Lemon Jefferson song and recorded it, and it became Managed Boy or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there ain't nothing new under the sun.
No, it's not.
You know.
Because I've always seen it as almost like a sign of respect. That the fact that you've seen something great in someone else's music and you kind of want to manipulate it and
well,
take
you don't
it
sample something that's rubbish. You sample something that's good.
That could be a new thing, though.
Yeah.
Try and make it better. What's that now?
And
Sorry, what?
I've noticed Horace has brought forward some of the images in his artwork as well. The images we'd have seen in the 70s and 80s. Doc Martens.
Yeah, well, you can't be seen without it, can you?
But that's in your art as well, isn't it?
These are art, actually, because they're covered in paint. No, the art is something that I've done since the Specials reformed in 2009. I mean, I got my art degree back in 75. That's the reason I come to Coventry. It's where I met Jerry. It's where I met all the other guys in the Specials. So having the time to to now concentrate on the art practice because we have a lot of downtime in the specials. And that's basically what I've done. I wanted to paint some of my musical heroes, so I've done a blues series. I didn't want to just do a nice portrait of Buddy Waters, but I wanted to try and explain how the music affected me. So there's bits of Chicago, you know, and I don't know, the instruments and the grittiness of that city. Because it's all history, isn't it? You know, yeah. I mean, just as you go back to India and, you know, your culture, those people, how they lived, you know, being slaves originally, then being freed, then realising that life in Mississippi was crap, and then moving to Chicago, discovering electricity, but taking their music from Mississippi to Chicago, which then, you know, and in 1962, the Muddy Waters Band was the loudest band in the world. You know, they were the Deep Purple of their era. You know, and that was, you know, Chicago blues, which again is one of my influences. And that was music that was plucked from all over the place. You know, it started off in Africa, was then played on Western instruments, on banjos and mandolins and fiddles, and then taken to Chicago, and then electricity and all that sort of. So that's a journey. That's like sampling. That's like, you know. But music's great like that. You know? I'm very lucky to be able to operate in two really, you know, very creative genres.
I was wondering, you know, the process that you will have used in making music. Do you ever have like a similar process for when you do your artwork? Kind of.
The whole purpose with my painting, it was I use models from the music business. You've got this group. You don't keep it in a rehearsal room. You go out and do gigs. You've got these paintings. You don't want to just keep them sort of stacked up in the attic. You want to go out and, you know, have exhibitions. You want to show people these things. So there is that. And there's that thing about, you know, you do demos, you do sketches, you do whatever. So it's the same sort of thing. Well, that worked, that didn't work, you know, and whatever. So yeah, I think it's two very different creative fields, but there are similarities. With music, I'm a supporting player. I'm a bass player. I need a drummer, guitar player, singer, keyboard player, horn section, whatever. You know, I'm a cog in a machine. With the art, it's my solo album.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like the art stands or falls by my efforts only. I can't blame the producer or the fact that the van broke down on the way to the gig. Whatever. It's you know.
It's all on you.
It's all on you. And and that's satisfying, or not if it's not good, you know. But so I think I cover quite a few bases. We're lucky like that.
Do you have a preference?
No, don't ask. That's the unanswerable question.
Do you have phases like where you might be more into music and then it dies off and you kind of concentrate on the art, or do they both just tend to just happen at the same time?
Well, obviously, when the specials present me with a schedule, I'm a musician. But then when the specials aren't there, I'm an artist. But I do work locally. I've got a little blues band that plays around Coventry. You know, a couple of times a month, and so I'm always, you know, I like playing blues. But that's okay. That happens in the evenings. I can be painting.
I was going to ask you, is there any kind of new music that you listen to at the moment, or do you tend to always draw for?
I'm listening to country music. I'm listening to Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings, Loretta Lynn. There's a woman called Margot Price. She's got a new album out fairly soon. It's country music. I'm sorry. There's very little sort of contemporary stuff. There's always going to be that thrill of a 15-year-old discovering an E chord when playing really loud. Makes you go, oh, that's great. You know, and all those people out there. And that's always going to be the case. You know, whether it's in 1956 or 2026. So there's always people, young kids in Coventry, you know, discovering that, and it's great to go and see them, you know, just sort of in front of people.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Yeah, it is really. The only trouble is that I just got slightly problems from that because I'm so so yeah, I mean, locally, there's always been a good music scene in the country, like there is in most places. So in terms of recording music, contemporary, not really, not a great deal.
So obviously, like at the time when Specials were formed and you were releasing music, it would have predominantly been on vinyl, and then I guess later on like vinyl and cassette. And then as time's moved on, we've had CDs, and right now, you know, vinyl's kind of, I say, supposedly making a comeback, but it's, I think young people are predominantly listening to music in a digital format. But I think some people have really strong opinions about, like vinyl is the only way to like listen to music, and I was wondering whether you had any thoughts about the format of music.
No, I think your ears are the way that you listen to music. You know what I mean? How it's presented is really kind of the element. I remember the first time I heard "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by Nirvana, which was one of the most amazing pieces of music I've ever heard. And it was in a car spares shop in Birmingham. I was working for a delivery firm, and I suppose it was really sort of small speakers, and the bloke was going, "Can I have a cigarette?" And I know, listen. And that wasn't anything to do with sound quality. That was on the radio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you know, to be honest, bullshit.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I've got, I bought singles, and I bought albums, and then I bought CDs, and I've got an iPod.
Yeah.
But I've also, not recent, about 10 years ago, bought a turntable.
Yeah.
And, you know, and so, but to be honest, as long as it sounds good, I don't care what I hear. To tell you the truth, my stereo is knackered.
Yeah.
The woofer things.
Right, blown or something.
So you know, it's like I can't really listen to it, or it doesn't sound that good.
Yes.
I think that's pretty posy stuff.
It is. Because I always think, like, if you're out and you want to have a good time, you don't care whether, you know, what format it is you're hearing. You just want to hear good music, full stop.
I appreciate artifact because I'm an artist. You know, the fact that you can hold a 12-inch piece of cardboard and there's all that information on it. I mean, one of the things that attracted me to art was album covers. Yeah. You know, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band was in 1966. I was 13.
And you've been doing,
How impressionable was that? You know, when that came out, it was wow. You know,
you do cassettes as well, don't you?
Yeah. Electric Ladyland. You know, we always used to have nude ladies on the cover.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We used to go down to Boots every Saturday morning just to look at the cover of this Jimi Hendrix record. You know what I mean? And I suppose I miss that with CD, which are like 5 weeks later.
That's right, yeah.
And then with digital stuff, it's like,
there's nothing.
But I'd like to know, you know, who played bass on it, where it was recorded, who produced it, all that kind of stuff.
It's kind of strange, right? Because I've got like a small sort of like record label that sort of exists predominantly in the digital realm. And for some of the releases I've done CDs, and the most recent one I did it as a cassette. And it, like you're saying, it is nice to have something to hold in your hand. It's great.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with the vinyl, because they're pressing all this vinyl, you know, really heavy stuff. They're heavier than when they sort of came out in the 60s. The actual weight of the vinyl.
They are, yeah.
And I'm wondering if that feeling of artifact isn't something to do with that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You know, look what I've got. It weighs a ton. It sounds great.
Yeah. Not unlike flimsy sort of. Some of them I've got flimsy out there.
Just to say thanks to you both, and you've got anything else to close with, Horace?
No, it's far too early in the morning.
Far too early. So, special thanks to Rob at Dashing Blades and Backhouse for hosting. So, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.